Everyone, I am coming to you after a long weekend of taking time off and trying to process this conversation I'm about to have. So, well, it's not even a conversation, this monologue I'm about to have. And so I have notes on this because this is very important to me. So it's not going to be my usual just like riff. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to close this out because this has been a lot of emotional labor for me to get to this space where I can even process what I'm thinking about this. And so I may get emotional, I don't know, because this is very personal to me. But it's come up a lot, and I've seen it. I've had my personal experiences with it in the last 3 or 4 months, and I've been trying to address it in these little pockets and trying to just understand what's going on because I'm not in all the spaces that this is. Well, actually, I'm in none of the spaces currently that this stuff that I see get these reports, but people are bringing these reports to me because they cause a scene, and just trying to figure out how to maneuver and navigate this space. So I'm just going to read you what I have. So this is Whiteness in Marginalized Spaces. And this is the pre-log of the workshop that I'll be doing in Berlin next week, about how to manage when you have, how do you manage what is it called? Oh hell, I can't even find the name of it right now, but I don't care. But it's how to manage when you have marginalized, more than one marginalized community in a space. And this is what communities, organizations, and events are now going to be challenged with. So they've been challenged with how to open up these spaces, but now the challenge, and it's going to scare off a lot of people, and they're going to be like, well, I throw my hands up, I can't do it. And you see it in organizations a lot when you have marginalized individuals in communities. How do you whose needs do you prioritize? How do you keep everyone safe? That kind of thing. So I'll be doing that workshop in Berlin. And also that's the keynote that I'll be doing at Cream City Code in Milwaukee. But this is specifically, those talks are for people who organize these events. This talk is for whiteness if you're showing up in marginalized spaces. So the first thing I want to talk about is why I choose to focus on a white audience. So I choose to focus on a white audience because, one, I have limited resources and bandwidth. There's only so much that I can do. Two, whiteness, although it turns my stomach, it makes me sick, but it is what it is. Whiteness is in positions of power and control the systems of oppression, and nothing changes without its active participation. So I can rail and be black liberal, black liberation, whatever, but I already know that until enough white people are actively working with us to dismantle systems of white supremacy and racism and oppression, nothing happens because the system benefits them. It takes the oppressor to take down the oppressed systems. Number three, nothing improves the lived experiences of the marginalized until whiteness recognizes it's complicit. I need enough white people to recognize that although you may not have actively put the system in place, the fact that you benefit from it and you do nothing, you're complicit. 4, whiteness must see that it too is not safe from the harm of white supremacy. I say this all the time. White supremacy is the parasite that is now eating on its host. And so there are, yes, white people who will, to their detriment, hang on and promote white supremacy. And yet I know through my data and my conversations that the majority of individuals do not want to do this, and it's causing you pain. 5, also, I need to speak to this. This is not my brand. I'm not doing this for a brand. This is the work that must be done to have lasting, impactful, meaningful change. So I'm going to be honest. I would prefer not to work with white people on this level because as you already know, I don't trust whiteness by default, and I know all whiteness is racist. So by doing this work intentionally, I put myself into spaces where I can be harmed, whether you intended to or not. And who the fuck would do that? And I know many of you wouldn't do it because many of you are doing the work to dismantle it. And if anybody says anything that upsets you just a little bit, you just get, you're way too sensitive. So I know you wouldn't put yourself in the situations that I put myself in. So this is not a brand, trust me. Number two of the points. When whiteness demands to be centered in marginalized spaces, it causes lasting harm. And this includes whiteness who are in the LGBTQ plus community, people with disabilities and physical, cognitive, gender, age, or any other marginalized group that you are part of, that you and it's not even benefit from, but you know what I'm saying. When you bring whiteness into these spaces, it not only harms the people who are already in those spaces, but it harms you because now no one gives a shit about your marginalization. No one cares. So number one, listen to Black women has many white marginalized individuals entering brown and Black spaces. Two, these communities have formed for the protection of these members, and it takes a lot for those individuals to develop a culture of socializing that respects, honors, and keeps them safe. So this is before you even come into these spaces. These women, these individuals, these men have worked on developing these things. These group members are inherently welcoming and make the assumption that whiteness would enter its space with respect. Four, it's like being, whiteness comes into these spaces and it's like being welcome into someone's home and then shitting in the middle of their living room. That's just basically it. And then getting mad at them because they're mad at you because you shit in their fucking living room. Five, unless checked, and I would rather self-reflection and you do this check yourself continuously. Unless checked, whiteness would center itself because it is designed to do so. This is another reason I don't get angry a lot, because I understand that this is what whiteness does. It is designed to center itself. Six, whiteness must stop falling back into labeling these communities and individuals with derogatory terms and derogatory, hateful terms when these communities feel under attack. Because when they're under attack, they're going to say and do whatever they need to protect themselves. It enables whiteness to inflict additional harm. And so my third bullet is I want to give you my personal experience. One, you already know I don't trust whiteness by default, and all whiteness is racist. Number two, I am an educator. I find myself in these dual roles. I'm the educator to the oppressor, and I'm a member of the oppressed. So respect that. I need you to respect the position I'm in. Three, I don't owe anyone anything. I have a right to navigate between white and Black and brown spaces as I see fit, and to maintain my in ways that maintain my psychological safety and well-being. I get to choose that. You don't choose that for me. Four, and that's on both sides. That's on people in brown and Black marginalized communities, and white. You don't talk to me. You don't tell me what I need to do. You can bring me information. I will make a decision whether first I want to engage, because I need to have the bandwidth or desire to do so. You don't make that decision for me. And how I will engage is also my determination. Four, I just need you to understand this, and this is all caps. I'm never going to prioritize whiteness over being a Black woman. I don't give a damn who you are. If you are white, which I don't trust by default because you were designed to do this, I will never prioritize whiteness over me being my safety, well-being over being a Black woman. That's not going to happen. If that's what you're expecting, you might as well leave my life now, because it's not going to happen. And five, some relationships that I had before I began this journey won't be continuing unless these individuals are able to demonstrate consistent, anti-racist and anti-Black behavior. If this fact bothers you, then you need to do better. So that's all I have to say about this. This took a lot out of me. So have a wonderful day. Goodbye.